welcome to Leadership Monday. We're starting in 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Simula po tayo 4 minutes from now. Um, hello sa ating mga suki. Hi, Chris. Ayan, can you hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Ayan, para lang sigurado po na naririnig ninyo ako. No? So, this is, I think, our fourth Leadership Monday na meron tayong pa-slides, meron tayong pa-presentation na isinishare sa ating mga session attendees. Ayan. Para tayo nasa webinar nito, no? And kagaya ng... this is, by the way, a continuation, no? Continuation of last week's topic. Medyo mahaba-haba yung topic on um, leading in a multi-generational workplace or leading Gen X and Y. So, itutuloy ko po yung mga slides na hindi ko pa na-discuss. So, tonight's going to be probably shorter presentation and going to be more conversation later. Ano po? Ayan, so we're just waiting for everyone to join us for tonight. At nang gumanda-ganda ang ating usapan as usual, I will entertain the question or questions after po nung aking presentation. So we will be starting in 3 minutes. So we're just waiting for our classmates to join us tonight. Para sa ganun, masaya-saya ang ating usapan. Ayan. Meron agad tayong tanong. No? Hello, sir. What can you say about working setup right now since the gas prices is high? Maganda na pag-usapan natin yan. Kanina, nabasa ko sa isang Facebook post na maraming mga gas stations ang nagsasara kasi wala na silang supply. And the price of gasoline and diesel especially is pataas ng pataas. At nakakatakot yung sitwasyon natin ngayon. It's giving me the COVID feels. No? Parang hindi naman sakit yung problema natin ngayon, pero malaki ang impact nito sa ating paghahanap buhay, sa ating ekonomiya. Itong negosyo ko, which is Human Resource and Organization Development Consulting, I'm also a little bit concerned kasi syempre sa maraming kumpanya, kapag nagko-cost cutting, ang unang-unang binabawas sa cost ay yung cost na may kinalaman sa human resources. No? Ayan, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Mamaya siguro pag-usapan natin yan after ko lang ituloy itong topic na ito. Hopefully, I can finish this in less than 30 minutes and then after that, pag-usapan natin yung ating mga challenges and how we can maybe overcome yung challenges na kinakaharap ng ating mga kumpanya at saka natin na rin. Alright, so welcome to Leadership Monday. Sa mga bago po sa ating session, we do this every Monday from 9 o'clock to 10 p.m. where we tackle an important leadership topic, no? And then after that, I answer questions. Ayan. At last week, pinag-usapan po natin yung tatlong generations, no? Pinag-usapan natin what builds the trust of a Gen X team member, what ruins it, at ano yung dapat gawin ng isang manager in order to work well with the Gen X team members. Napag-usapan natin yung mga Gen Y, mga millennials, what builds their trust, no? And what breaks the trust. Ayan. And then finally, we talked about the Gen Zs. Ito yung mga bago pa lang pumapasok sa workplace. The oldest Gen Z, I think, is going to be 30 this year, if I'm not mistaken. Ano? So marami ang bata pa at yung mga values ay may mga pagkakaiba-iba. No? So we talked about how to deal with Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z, how to communicate with them, paano makipag-usap, paano magbigay ng feedback and recognition. So itutuloy po natin yan ngayon, ano, without further ado. But before before we do, no, let me just take this opportunity kasi next week na po ito. Next week na mangyayari itong the Online Bossing Challenge. Ito po ay free webinar using Zoom na ino-offer ko doon po sa bumili ng aking librong bossing ka na pala. Medyo marami-rami na rin po yung nakabili ng libro at we offer those who were able to buy the book to join us on March 30, 2026 from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. online. Oo. Kung wala ka pang libro, pwede ka naman bumili ng libro, no? At ito po yung QR code. Pwede nyo na po yung i-scan o kaya ay capture ninyo yung QR code so that you can enroll if you have a copy of the book. Kung meron man sa inyo ngayon na merong kopya ng book, libre po kayo makaka-attend nito. At kung kayo naman po ay walang libro at gusto nyong bumili, ay pwede nyo pong i-scan ito at mabibigyan po kayo ng libreng seat doon sa ating session. So I'm quite happy with the turnout of the book. No? Meron akong mga kilalang mga training consultants and training facilitators na sinabi sa akin they've already started using the book in conducting leadership training. So, and one of the advantages of this book is sinulat po kasi ito sa Taglish. No? Modern Taglish version yung pagkakasulat nito. At marami siyang mga worksheet that you can use depending on the leadership and management challenges. No? Sinulat ko siya sa Taglish. Hindi lang ito yung advantage nito. Hindi lang siya basta sinulat sa Taglish. Sinulat ko rin siya so that we can contextualize yung mga foreign concepts ng leadership and management. So we all know, nakaramihan ng mga nagsulat ng libro tungkol sa leadership and management are from other countries, no? Western in particular. So the question now is, applicable ba sa mga Pilipino yung mga Western concepts ng leadership and management? And ang aking realization in my 30 years of experience is that kailangan siyang ihulma, no, ibagay or i-align sa Filipino culture. At yun po yung yung characteristic ng libro na sinulat ko na bossing ka na pala, no. Ayan. So March na po ito, no? March 30, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Ayan. Pagka umattend po kayo nitong training na to, you will be able I will be able to explain some of the key chapters of the book. Not the entire book kasi actually yung libro na to ay integration na napakaraming training na kinakandak ko. So siguro ang katumbas nitong libro na ito ay mga 5 hanggang 6 na training, no, na kinakandak ko at pinagsama-sama ko dito sa isang libro na ito. Ayan, so ayan po. I hope I was able to give you enough time to scan the QR code and join me, no, on March 30 in this online learning session. Okay, so let's now continue on our topic today, which is leading and managing Gen Zs. No? So, paano ba natin may engage yung mga Gen X, Gen Zs, and millennials? No? So let me zoom in on some of the some of the things that we can do. By the way, bago ko ituloy, no, itong programa na itong presentation ko sa inyo na ito is something that I developed after research, no. Kasi marami po tayong mga kliyente na naba-bother at nalilito. Paano ba natin ima-manage yung sobrang magkakaibang traits, no, ng Gen X, millennials, and Gen Zs in the workplace, no? So people are getting frustrated. The Gen Zs, they're also getting frustrated. And one of the reasons why maraming mga Gen Zs ang hindi tumatagal sa kumpanya ay dahil doon sa kanilang frustration, no? So marami na tayo napag-usapan diyan. Meron po akong in-upload ko po sa YouTube yung buong video. Hanapin niyo po sa YouTube 'yon kung gusto niyo mapanood yung last week. In-upload ko yung buong video of the last week's Leadership Monday. Tapos doon naman po sa aking channel, if you are subscribed to sorry, not my channel but my Facebook page. Kung kayo po ay subscribe doon, not only do you get the video, you also get the presentation and the toolkits. I always come up with toolkits weekly. So you pay 99 pesos per month, pero every week you get a set of toolkits that you can use for leadership and management. No? Mas mahal pa po yung isang cafe americano sa Starbucks doon sa membership ng aking doon sa aking subscription page. So I hope you can support me with that, and also um, you know uh, have some tools that you can use for leading and managing people. So going back to this topic, oops, sorry, balik po ako doon, balik, sorry, naklik ko kagad eh. How do you effectively recognize the Gen X? So yung mga Gen X natin, mga kakagaya ko na Gen X, ay ang naniniwala kasi kami ay more results oriented, ano. Nasabi ko nga ito last week na merong mga managers na hindi ka i-re-recognize hangga't hindi ka nagpo-produce ng result, no. So very results oriented. Efforts only count if they are able to produce results. So if you want to recognize a Gen X team member, recognize them for their ability to deliver results, no. Another way to recognize especially their capability, no, ay yung pagbibigay sa kanila ng autonomy. Ayan. Oo, the worst people to micromanage are the Gen X, no, yung mga kagaya ko, no. Kasi siyempre inisip nila na earn na nila yung kanilang credibility to do the work that they do. At ayan, flexibility, time off, those are some of the things na kailangang those are the things that they value. Alam ko na yung mga millennials at saka mga Gen Zs are particular about their work-life balance. Pero ang una po na nag nagkaroon ng pagba-value or pagpapahalaga sa work-life balance ay yung ating mga Gen X, no? So that's how you recognize and appreciate your Gen X team members. Okay? So, how about the millennials? Okay? So yung mga millennials ay yung mga teka, angat natin ng konti. Ayan. Millennials. Born from 1981 to 1996. So kung titingnan mo, karamihan ng mga millennials sorry, nakita ko yung comment ni Chris. Gen X, lot of them tend not to teach or mentor younger guys. Oo, tama. Yung time na, yung ganong quote, no, yung time namin kami-kami lang ako lang mag-isa, wala naman tumulong sa akin. Madalas ganon yung mindset, no. So, kaya rin ako medyo nag-e-effort din ako to also help yung mga Gen X managers have a mindset about mentorship, no? Which is kailangan ng mga maraming millennials na karamihan ngayon ay nasa middle management, no? Dahil karamihan ngayon ng mga millennials ay mga may mga pamilya na, no? Family people na. So, yung kanilang seriousness pagdating sa career ay mas mataas. Hopefully, yung mga Gen Zs natin, lalo na kapag ka nagkaroon na ng pamilya, will also take work more seriously. So, sa kanila, importante yung growth and development. So, yung mga recognition or reward that leads to growth and development becomes very, very important for them. No? Sending them to training, ano pa ba? Mga opportunities for promotion, di ba? Yan yung hinahanap ng ating mga millennials. So yung recognition focuses on the meaning of their work and the impact of their work. Ayan. And they also like frequent feedback. No? So yung ating mga millennials, ayaw nila nung kasi ang mga Gen X hindi masyadong mahilig sa feedback eh. Hindi sila masyadong mahilig sa feedback. Ayaw nila nakaka-receive ng feedback, ayaw nila nagbibigay ng feedback. Karamihan, no? Hindi ko nila lahat. But the millennials, karamihan gusto ng regular na feedback, no? So yan yung ating mga millennials. Let's now look at our Gen Zs. Ayan. Ano ba ang gusto ng mga Gen Zs? Ito yung mga pinanganak noong 1997. Ayan. At 2012. So marami pa tayong Gen Zs na wala pa sa no? Hindi pa pumapasok sa workplace. Nasa senior high pa yung iba. So, ang recognition ay frequent and immediate. So, ang gusto ng millennial, regular feedback. No? Meron kang monthly check-in siguro. Ayan, meron tayong, kumbaga, touch point meetings every month where you get to talk about performance. Okay? Pero pagdating sa Gen Z, frequent and immediate. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Pag merong kang pinagawa sa kanya at nagustuhan mo yung ginawa niya, bigay mo na agad yung feedback. No? Mabilis. Kung may mali doon sa ginawa niya, sabihin mo na agad. No? Huwag kang mag-ipon ng feedback sa Gen Z because they prefer feedback to be timely. At yung timely nila is after nilang gawin. Because they worry a lot about tama ba yung ginawa ko, nagustuhan ba ng boss ko yung ginawa ko. Okay. Is there a way to improve my performance? Should I be asking my boss, di ba? So yun yung mga concerns ng ating mga Gen Zs. Ngayon, let me just remind you, I'm working on the premise na all people are the same, some people are the same, but no two persons are the same. So, ito pong sineshare ko sa inyo is ang natin, ang operating words natin dito ay karamihan. No? Ayan. Sabi niya, namulat sa SOCMED ang Gen Z, kaya may reaction agad ang gusto. May like agad na gustong makuha. May punto ka dyan di ba? Kasi sanay sila ng meron agad reaction sa ginagawa nila. So, yun yung kailangan natin. Sige. Sabi ni Ali, provide tips on providing feedback sa Gen Zs na mabilis magdamdam. We'll get into that in a little bit, no? Peer-to-peer recognition, kasi ang mga Gen Zs ay less formal than the Gen X. Mas formal yung mga Gen X kaysa Gen Z. So, the Gen Zs don't care kung saan nanggagaling yung recognition. Sa boss, sa peer, other people, ayan. Ang importante, may feedback silang nare-receive. Digital and real time. No? So, sa amin, sa team ko, gano'n, pagka may nangyaring maganda, pag may ginawang maganda yung isang teammate, kasi karamihan ng staff ko ay Gen Z. Siguro kalahati ng staff ko ay Gen Z. No? So, mabilis yung recognition, mabilis yung celebration ng accomplishment At pag may problema, napapag-usapan dapat agad. There's no sense to them na matagal bago mapag-usapan ang problema. No? I think kasama dun sa, oops, sorry, mali yung aking ginalaw. Let me just put it back. Hold on. Okay. Ito pala dapat yung ginagalaw ko. I think no, para sa mga Gen Zs, it doesn't make sense na mag-ipon ka ng feedback. In fact, one of the reason kung bakit magtatampo sa iyo ang Gen Z is pagka masyado kang matagal magbigay ng feedback. Parang feeling nila inipon mo muna yung sama ng loob, no? So, last week sinabi ko rin ito na kapagka natutunan mong i-manage yung Gen Zs, you will also be able to effectively manage millennials and Gen X. Bakit? Kasi yung mga pinapangarap lang ng mga Gen X doon ay the Gen Zs are very adamant about them. Yun talaga yung dinidemand ng Gen Zs. No? So ano yung mga hindi na masyadong uso ngayon? Overly public praise, waiting too long for feedback or recognition, yung generic or superficial na feedback, yung good job. Good job saan? Be specific, no? Ayan. And then, yun, yung mga generic na feedback ay dapat nating iwasan. Ngayon, meron po akong mga nakikitang comment dito sa chat, at let me read all of them and then I'd react, no? Paano po yung Gen Z na ine-explain mo na yung feedback pero di nakikinig while nag-explain ka? Okay. That's something that I think we can discuss in a little bit. As a Gen Z, medyo conscious ako sa ginagawa ko gawa ng pinalaki na ng millennial na dapat lagi kang tama. Okay. So yes. Paano po kaya i-handle yung mga laging nagsasabi na na-anxiety sila kahit kalmado ka naman sa kanila? Okay. Karamihan sa Gen Z, mataas ang ihi. No? Okay. I don't think it helps to judge people, whether Gen X, Millennials, or Gen Zs. Kailangan natin maintindihan, if we're going to effectively lead people, kailangan natin maintindihan where they're coming from so that we can lead better. So this is not to say na lahat ng Gen Z ay kakayanin mong i-manage in the same way na yung Millennials at saka Gen X ay iba-iba rin. Ano? So we're like looking at the majority of the population at ano yung mga pwede nating gawin. Sige. So we'll go into that. So ayun yung mga recognition. Let's now go to feedback. No? Paano ba tayo dapat magbigay ng feedback? Okay? At ano yung mga dapat nating gawin? One of the things na naging prevalent recently in a few years ay yung tinatawag nating psychological safety. Okay? Around the world, there is now a recognition na kung gusto mo ng high-performing team, kung gusto mo ng mentally and emotionally thriving team, you will want to practice psychological safety. No? Ayan, hindi ko alam kung narinig nyo na po yan or kung napag-uusapan yan sa inyong kumpanya. I do know na ang Google, the company, one of the things that they did was they did the research inside the company at inaalam nila ano ba yung mga characteristics ng high-performing teams doon sa kumpanya. And one of the things they found out is in a high-performing team, there is psychological safety. Okay? So what does it mean, yung psychological safety? You know na merong psychological safety sa iyong team kapag yung mga tao hindi natatakot umamin ng kanilang pagkakamali. Okay? Dahil kapagka yung mga tao ay hindi natatakot na umamin ng kanilang pagkakamali, mas mabilis matuto yung mga tao. They learn from failure. At kung kung meron tayong culture of willingness to learn from failure, mas mabilis yung mga tao mag-open up with their ideas, share ideas. Kasi yung mga tao, hindi natatakot na baka mahusgahan yung kanilang sasabihin. And because there's more openness, that could lead to better innovation and decision making. We do recognize na hindi lahat ng innovation initiative ay naupupunta sa positive. No? Sometimes they're negative. Kaya babalik ka uli doon sa cycle. No? Comfortable admitting mistakes. Ang opposite niyan ay yung psychological danger na merong vicious cycle of fear of admitting mistakes, blaming others. Team members are less likely to share different views. Hirap na hirap magsalita yung mga tao. Sikreto ang mga problema. And that leads to uh, teams being stuck dahil yung group dynamics ay nakakaapekto sa decision making ng team, no? So what are we gunning for? We're aiming for psychological safety. Before kung ilipat yung slide, let me just look at some comments, no? Dahil maraming mga comments itong nakikita ko rito. Ayan. Okay. Ano ba yung huli ko nasabi? Paano kaya i-handle yung mga lagi nagsasabi na anxiety sila? Nabanggit ko na yan, mataas ang ihi. Okay. Hello po sir, taga saan po kayo? Pwede po ba namin kayo ma-invite sa office namin sa Makati? Pwede po, taga Metro Manila lang din po ako and you can invite me, just send me a message. Sabi ni Chris, empathy. Yes, empathy is very important. Feedback, dahan-dahan, wag agad pagalitan kasi kakalabanin kanyan palihim. Okay. I think dahan-dahan is not the word that I will use, but rather empathic, yung sinabi ni Chris kanina, no? To be able to communicate with empathy. We will go into that in a little bit. For me, mahirap mag-manage ng Gen Z. Parang mostly sa kanila, mabilang sa work and or mareklamo. Okay. Babalikan ko po yung sinabi niya kasi na-discuss ko rin yung last week. Sabi ni The End Game, pag walang corporate politics, matik may psychological safety sa isang company. I agree. Ito yung problema natin. Halos lahat ng kumpanya may corporate politics. So how do you manage yung psychological safety? Hindi po lahat ng Gen Z mareklamo kung mayroon lang healthy environment and guidance through or her work. Agree ako sa sinabi ni Michi. I wouldn't label my Gen Z team members as mareklamo. They're curious, no? They ask questions such as, ang paboritong question ay why? Di ba? Bakit kailangan gawin na ganito? Or is there another way of doing it? So, agree ako doon. Madalas ko sinasabi to sa marami kong sessions, pati na rin sa TikTok, na yung sinasabi ni John Maxwell, yung sinasabi niya, everything rises and falls on leadership. Importante na ini-equip natin yung sarili natin as leaders, kung paano tayo mas magiging effective and skillful in leading and managing people, especially the Gen Zs. Kasi kung ang tingin natin sa mga Gen Zs ay dead end, mahirap turuan, mahirap i-manage, mahirap i-lead. So we will end up frustrated kasi hindi natin tinitingnan yung sarili natin as also responsible for, enhancing our knowledge and adjusting our approach. No? Ayan. Sige, tuloy na natin. Paano ba mag-practice ng psychological safety? Okay. Kailangan nating ma-differentiate yung criticism. Anong pagkakaiba ng criticism, feedback, at saka coaching? So ito ay tatlong bagay na available sa isang leader, no? Ah, yung criticism nung araw, meron tinatawag na constructive criticism, pero criticism pa rin. Pwede na, no? Sa aming mga Gen X, pwede na yun. Tanggapin mo yung masakit na sinabi ng boss mo. Pag sinabi ng boss mo na, nag-iisip ka ba? Pinag-isipan mo bang mabuti yan? Or hindi ka nag-iisip? Or sabihin sa'yo, mag-isip ka naman paminsan-minsan. Pwede na nung araw, no? Pero ngayon, hindi na no? So, anong pagkakaiba? Ang criticism focuses on the past. Okay? One of the things you often hear from people who criticize ay, ano ba, lagi kang ganyan, lagi kang ganito, ganyan ka naman talaga, di ba? Kasi nga, nag-iipon ng mga patterns of behaviors and then they judge you based on that. So, focuses on the past, harsh or blaming, and makes the person feel smaller. That's why they get defensive. Why? They feel attacked. So, ang feedback, ano ang pagkakaiba ng criticism sa feedback? Ang feedback ay focus on recent performance. So, halimbawa, may mali sa report na ginawa ng tao, hindi mo kakalkalin yung historia ng tao, yung history ng tao. You focus on the latest happening. Yung report na sinabmit mo kahapon ay kulang sa importanteng detalye, no? Or kulang sa analysis at recommendation. You're very specific and it's something that's recent enough. Di ba? Hindi yung pinagpatong-patong mo, sinalansan mo yung lahat ng kasalanan ng tao, tapos sinabihan mong lagi siyang gano'n. No? It's objective, it's very specific, so hindi mo sasabihin ang pangit ng ginawa mong presentation or ang pangit ng trabaho mo. You're objective, no? And you're very specific about what the behavior that you want the person to change. It helps the person understand. Ngayon, yung sinasabi niyo kanina na pag nagpapaliwanag pa lang ako, defensive na, yung bang ginagawa mo, does it appear as a feedback or does it appear as a criticism? Kasi kahit na anong paliwanag mo ng criticism, ay ano siya, it still feels like an attack. A feedback is basically an information na sinishare mo dun sa tao para maintindihan niya kung ano yung concern mo, no? One very popular approach sa pagbibigay ng feedback ay yung tinatawag nating SBI structure. Situation, behavior, and impact. Okay? Situation, kaninang umaga, sa meeting natin, hindi ka dumating on time. As a result, na-delay yung start ng ating meeting, no? So yung situation kaninang umaga sa meeting, ang behavior, late yung tao, ang result, hindi nakapagsimula on time yung trabaho. This follows yung ano no, yung coach. This is followed by coaching. Lilinawin ko lang, Chris, magkaiba yung SBI at saka yung sandwich approach. Hindi ako fan ng sandwich approach. And I'll tell you why I'm not a fan of sandwich approach. Ang sandwich approach, another term that we use, lalo na dun sa aking club, sa Toastmasters, no? Ang ibig sabihin ng sandwich approach ay pupurihin mo muna, tapos bibigyan mo ng feedback, ng comment or criticism, tapos pupurihin mo ulit. No? So, okay naman yung trabaho mo, ganyan, no? I really like it when you do this. Tapos merong but or kaya lang, no? So, Di ba nakakainis yun? Ang ganda-ganda ng pakiramdam ko, pinupuri ako, tapos mamaya bibiglang, parang sinasabi niya, you're okay, but you are not okay. Oh, by the way, you are okay, di ba? Ngayon, kung lagi mong ginagamit yung sandwich approach, medyo doubtful na yung empleyado pag nagsisimula kang magbigay ng feedback. So, ang akin pong recommendation, kung pupurihin niyo yung tao, purihin ninyo, huwag niyo samahan ng kaya lang. Okay? The recognition should stay as a recognition, as an appreciation. Huwag mong haluan ng ng constructive feedback. Yan. Pag bibigyan mo siya ng feedback, diretso feedback, no? Ed, usap nga tayo. O yung report na sinubmit mo, yung kahapon na pinasasubmit ko sa iyo na report, hindi mo na submit on time. Okay? So situation kahapon, yung report, behavior, hindi mo na submit on time. As a result, na-delay din yung report ko sa top management at ako ay na-call out and I'm upset, no? So ganun, walang anong tawag dito? Walang sugarcoat, pero wala ka ring sinabing masama. Bakit? It's very specific and it's very objective. Wala kang sinabing ang bagal mo mag-submit ng report kahapon. You don't say that, no? So, ayun. Ngayon, yung SBI is a setup for coaching. Ano naman yung focus ng coaching? Ang coaching ay nakafocus sa growth and improvement, no? Focuses on growth and improvement, supportive and encouraging, and helps the person finds the solution. Let me emphasize that one. No, let me just lakihan natin yung part na yan. Helps the person find the solution. Hindi finds the solution for the person. So halimbawa, si Ed ay nag-submit ng report na kulang sa analysis at recommendation. Okay? So how do you use the SBI as a feedback that leads to coaching? So sasabihin ko kay Ed, nabasa ko na yung report na sinabit mo sa akin kanina at kulang sa analysis at recommendation na ine-expect ko. Okay? That's an SBI feedback. Ngayon, paano ka magko-coach? Ito yung coaching. You use powerful questions. Ano bang pwede mong gawin? Or paano ba natin masusolusyonan to? Or ano bang pwede nating gawin para yung susunod mo na report ay kumpleto ng analysis at recommendation? Di ba? So instead of saying, Ed, sa susunod, ito gawin mo para kumpleto yung report mo. Instead of doing that, you ask the person, okay? Anong kailangan mo? Anong kailangan nating gawin para yung susunod mo ng report ay akma doon sa aking expectation? So that starts a problem-solving conversation. So the person doesn't have to be defensive. The person just needs to think of a solution. And you can have that conversation, and it's going to be very productive. So, nakikita ko marami tayong nasa chat. Tingnan natin yung o di ba Jelly Ace, yung however, nakakainis. Di ba? Sabi ni M, the BPO, ganyan, pagbagsak ka sa scores, sandwich approach. Di ba? So, actually, ang isa sa hindi ko gusto, sa maraming organization, sa BPO, maradalas ko naririnig to, pag tinawag ka, sa ed coaching tayo, ang iisipin mo agad, ano kaya yung ginawa kong mali? Which is, wrong. That's, later on, we'll talk about coaching, we'll talk about mentoring. Hindi yun yung tamang gamit ng salitang coaching. No? Is it normal for CEOs to ask the reason every time someone from the team wants to file SL and BL? Sa SL, kailangan mo ng proof na ikaw ay may sakit. Kasama sa karapatan ng kumpanya yan. Yung BL ay ang kailangan dyan ay anong tawag dito? Lead time. Kasi pag magbabakasyon ka, kailangang i-adjust yung work arrangement. No? Nakasanayan na lang natin kasi na nakalagay doon sa leave form na reason, no, for taking a leave. Kasi nung araw nga, lahat pinakikialaman, ano. So ngayon, what you can probably do is, pagka meron kang bakasyon, sabihin mo lang, personal reason, no. So, you can get away with that. Hindi mo kailangan ipaliwanag, especially if you have filed the vacation leave properly, no. Minsan kaya din nila gustong itanong 'yon is because, they try to weigh kung i-a-approve ba yung leave application mo o hindi, depende dun sa exigency of the business. Kasi kung critical yung reason mo, sobrang halaga, they'll ayaw ka sanang payagan pero papayagan ka for humanitarian reason, ano. Pero kapagka medyo magaan lang yung reason mo, hindi ka papayagan kasi may problema siguro sila sa operation. So those are the possible ways to look at it. I'm trying to look at different scenarios for why management will ask you for the reason for taking a leave, ano. Or pupurihin ka pero ending may additional workload lang sa'yo. Oo. Kapagka pagka hindi natin gusto yung workload, di kausapin natin, ano. Paano nagbigay ka ng feedback tapos feeling nila na bully, harassment daw, kahit yung issue naman ay ano, ang topic. Okay. Dito sa Singapore, sobrang iba po ng culture sa Singapore. I had a Singaporean boss and I've had Singaporean clients, very assertive, bordering on aggressive. So, hindi comparable yung culture, no? Masyadong magkaiba. Sometimes allowing them to point out their shortcomings and ask them what could be done is okay. I agree, no? Uh, hindsight 'yun, ano? Pero mas maganda instead of hindsight, foresight na, eh. Like, ano kayang puwede nating gawin in the future para hindi na maulit yung problema, rather than go back to it, no? Oo. But that's just an opinion, ano? I do not disagree with what you said, Jelly Ace, okay? So, ayan. So, ayan yung difference ng criticism, feedback, and coaching. What works for the Gen Z? In general, hindi ko po nilalahat, no? Not general, majority. Feedback, timely feedback, avoid criticism, timely feedback, and coaching. Oo. So, yun yung dalawang bagay na kailangan nating husayan. Yung paano, yung proper way of giving feedback. There's a lot of information on the web. And then, how do you move from feedback to coaching conversation? No? Ayan. So, sana nakatulong po ito. Yung criticism works for Gen X. Unfortunately, mga Gen X managers hindi pa talaga nabibitawan yung criticism. Ako minsan may kumakawala pa rin sa bibig ko, paminsan-minsan, no? Pero it's something that we need to unlearn, eh. And really focus only on giving feedback and coaching. Oo. Sir, ano 'to yung isa? Thanks sir, galing niyo po mag-explain. Salamat po, salamat. Sir, paano yung workload mo? Mas marami pa sa newbie, pero yung sahod niyo pantay lang. Paano ba sabihin 'to sa management? Oo. Eh, paano sabihin is essentially to raise your concern, 'di ba? Sa management. Kasi wala namang ibang paraan para sabihin kung hindi sabihin, eh. Sabihin niyo, ipaalam niyo. Kung gusto niyo sumulat kayo. Sumulat kayo, iparating. Sabihin mo, "Sir, isinulat o ma'am, boss, isinulat ko po yung gusto ko sabihin kasi parang feeling ko hindi ko kayang sabihin ng personal, 'no? So isinulat ko dito para lang maipahayag ko yung talagang nararamdaman ko about the situation." They should know. Baka mamaya na-o-overlook nila, 'no? Ah, how to provide feedback without sounding that you are calling out someone. Calling out, sita ba, yung gano'n? Merong very simple rule, eh. Praise in public, reprimand in private. Kayong dalawa lang, at objective. Ito yung aking best advice. Ito yung aking best advice pagdating sa pagbibigay ng feedback. Or whenever I have to deal with an issue in the workplace. Ang aking approach is I approach it with curiosity rather than judgment. Okay? So when I have to go to a team member kasi meron siyang maling ginawa, I'm more interested in uh, I'm more interested in communicating my intention. Halimbawa, uh, gamitin natin uli si Ed, no? At meron siyang report na ginawa na hindi kompleto yung pagkakagawa niya ng report. So my approach to a conversation, grow model, no? Hindi ko lang isinama rito. Yung grow model, GROW, is a framework that is widely used in coaching, no? So the approach I'm doing, I start the conversation with this. Ed, usap tayo. Gusto ko kasi mapag-usapan natin kung paano natin may improve yung mga reports na sinasubmit mo. How does that sound? Ed, usap tayo. Ang goal ng ating conversation ay makaisip tayo ng solusyon para ma-improve natin yung mga reports na sinasubmit mo. Di ba? Hindi ako nag-aakusa. Hindi ko sinimulan yung usapan ng Ed, usap tayo kasi marami akong problema o may mga problema ako doon sa report mo. That puts the person in anticipatory defensive mood pagka ganun ang sinabi mo. But if you say, let's solve this problem together, you are not looking for a fight. You're looking for collaboration. So I hope nakatulong yun. So tingnan natin yung mga tanong. Tama po ba na pag-evaluate sa staff ay based on the number of errors? Mahirap pong sagutin. Marami kasing factors, no? Sasabihin sa'yo confidential and sound. In many companies, that's true. Ano po masasabi nyo na hindi performance-based ang promotion? Sige. Sagutin ko yan mamaya. Mahaba sagot dyan eh. Dapat ganito mga speaker sa mga event, di yung mga high-paid name lang. Ayun. Maganda rin naman po ang bayad sa akin pag ako'y nagsasalita sa public. How to deal with the employee kahit anong feedback tinitake niya personal tapos tatama rin na. I hope nakakatulong yung approach na tinuturo ko, no? Ayan. Salesman Universe, hi. Okay. Paano ko yung boss ko nagtatanong nga anong gagawin kaso hindi naman talaga tumutulong? Hanggang framework lang. Ito, importante ito. Yung mga Gen Zs natin are more aware dun sa concept ng coaching at saka mentoring, no? So when you try to solve a problem, for example, ituloy lang po natin 'yon, Ed, so G, no, goal. Ed, usap tayo kung available ka. Anong pag-uusapan? Ito, pag-usapan natin kung paano natin mapagpagtulungang ma-improve yung quality ng iyong report. Okay? So that's the G. The R is you give feedback, no? Tinignan ko kasi yung report na sinubmit mo kahapon, napansin ko kulang sa analysis at kulang sa recommendation. Oo. Ano ba yung mga challenges mo? Saan ka ba parte nahihirapan sa pagsulat ng analysis at saka recommendation? So, I'm approaching it with curiosity, not with accusation, no? Hindi ko sinabing, hindi mo masyadong pinagtuunan ng pansin. Napansin ko, hindi mo pinagtuunan ng pansin or hindi ka masyadong detail-oriented. I didn't say any of that. I just said, yung report mo ay kulang sa ganito, ganyan, at saan ka ba nahihirapan? Ano bang mga challenges? So, I expect the person to listen, I expect the person to speak up, share the thoughts. Hopefully, we built enough trust in our relationship para makita niya na intention ko ay mabuti. Okay? So, yung O, so G, goal, R, reality, O is options. Ano ngayon ang mga pwede nating gawin? Ano yung on your end, anong pwede mong gawin? Anong pwede kong maitulong? So, pwedeng sabihin ni Ed na nahirapan talaga ako sa analysis kasi meron akong problema dun sa steps. Oo, hindi ako masyadong klaro dun sa steps. Pagdating naman sa recommendation, hindi ko alam kung ano yung magandang recommendation at pangit na recommendation. Okay, so yun yung reality. Okay, pagdating dun sa options, we can talk about it. What kind of help do you need? So, pwedeng sabihin ni Ed na, pwede po bang i-walk through nyo uli ako dun sa analysis part? At saka, bigyan nyo ako ng example ng mga magagandang recommendation, etc. Okay? Sige, pag-usapan natin yan. And then, kung ano man yung mga options na yon, it goes to W. W is way forward. Okay, ang way forward is action planning. Okay? So sige, and sa Lunes, let's sit down, let's walk through the report process para ma-highlight natin yung mga areas na challenging at mabigyan kita ng inputs on how to make it less challenging for you, no? Less difficult. Tapos, pagkatapos nun, gumawa ka ng report, tapos tignan natin uli, tignan natin kung may areas for improvement, and we will not stop giving each other feedback hanggang sa ma-master mo na siya. So that's the entire grow conversation. Ano po. Ayun. So I hope nakatulong po yun sa inyo. So, i-research nyo po, GROW. At marami po kayong mga videos. Pati ako, marami akong videos na role play ng GROW. No? Ayun. So, sana nakatulong yun. Ngayon, coaching yun. Iba yung counseling, Chris. Yung counseling deals with personal, mental, or emotional issues na medyo nagpapahirap doon sa tao na maging productive in the workplace. No? Ang lagi kong advice sa mga supervisors and managers is that kung ganun yung issue, coaching may not be enough. No? Ang kailangan doon ay yung tinatawag nating mental health first aid. Ano yun? So, we'll probably use another Leadership Monday to talk about mental health first aid para dun sa mga team members natin na stressed out or burnout sa trabaho. Okay. Pero one thing na alam ko, because hindi ako counselor, some people are trained for counseling. No? So, ang dapat mong gawin ay ipasa yung empleyado to someone who is equipped to do counseling. No? So, maybe you can pass them to HR and HR can look for resources. May mga HM mo na merong ganong rider, no? Yung counseling na rider. Ano po? Or employee assistance program yung isang tawag doon. Ano po? So yan. Marami-rami na rin tayong nasagot na tanong, no? Kahit na medyo mabagal yung usad natin. How to approach para maintindihan niya na di naman about personality or personal yung issue. Okay. I think this is a good question. Let me take it down, no? Kung gusto mo na hindi personalin nung tao yung mga feedback mo every time, build relationship with your team member. Build trust. Okay? So how do you do that? Maraming beses ko na rin to sinabi sa mga videos ko. Pag walang issue talaga. Talk to your team. Sit everybody down and you say, team, yung ating success, yung success natin as a team, yung ating performance, ay nakadepende lahat sa ating open communication and trust in each other. So, ang isang indicator na mataas ang tiwala natin sa isa't isa is our ability to be able to engage in an honest, trusting, and respectful conversation about issues. No? So, pag-usapan natin yung ating ground rules pagdating dyan. Mag-agree kayo kung paano kayo dapat mag-usap. And have everyone sign off on that ground rules. Para alam nila na kapag nagbibigay ka ng feedback, nagbibigay ka lang ng feedback. Oo. At hindi nila kailangan masamain. Ikaw din, kapag ka ginawa mo yon, importante na open-minded ka. Bakit? Kasi may preference yung mga tao mo. Kaya mo bang mag-adjust ng iyong style sa preference ng mga tao mo? So, that's another thing, no? Okay. So, I hope nakatulong yun, no? Ano po ang proper approach sa mga direct reports na tempted to resign because of salary? Hindi mo naman kayang taasan ng sweldo nila, eh. So, anong gagawin natin doon? Diba? Kung salary talaga yung dahilan. I agree with Art, no? Focus on the behavior, not the person. So, anong difference nung um, hindi maayos, ang bagal mo magtrabaho. Ang bagal mo versus hindi mo na-submit yung report on time. Yung ang bagal mo, you're focusing on the person. Hindi mo na-submit yung report on time, is just behavior. No? So, thank you, Art, for that. That's a good advice. Okay. Sabi ni Jelly Ace, let's build a culture where asking for help is not seen as a sign of weakness. Huwag lang ma-overuse. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Ang dami pong mga magagandang comment ngayong gabi, and I really thank everyone for weighing in with your ideas. I agree with a lot of them. No? I find Grow Coaching effective, much more structured framework. Okay. Which one is most helpful po, sir, when it comes to research? Member na nauulit ang mali but nag-keep up naman po sa mga pasahan. Okay. I'll probably need more explanation para maintindihan ko yun. Ano? Okay. Wow, mukhang magkaka-part 3 tayo. Ano ba yan? Magkaka-part 3 yata tayo. Okay. So, criticism versus feedback versus coaching. Ayan yung criticism. No? Blames and attacks. Okay. Feedback, points out and informs. Napansin ko sa report mo kahapon, kulang sa analysis and recommendation. Pasensya na po kayo, nakalimutan ko na meron ako nitong slide na ito. I should have gone to this first. Okay. And then finally, coaching as and develops. What can we do para mas maging kompleto ang report mo next week? Di ba? Ayan. Ang ganda nung nung sinabi ni Jelly H. As much as the people that we manage need all of this, the same goes with the leaders. Oo, tao rin tayo eh. Di ba? So, tayo? Dapat tayo? Malleable din tayo. No? Alright. So, ano yung mga 5 elements of constructive feedback? It should be timely. Okay? Feedback should be fresh. Receiver should be ready to receive it. Given in a private, location. Given in private. No? Lalo na kung corrective feedback siya. It should be clear. No? Describes what was observed. Avoid prescriptions or advice too early. Diba? Minsan, yung feedback, hindi feedback eh. Ed, dali ka nga rito, usap tayo. Oo. Yung report mo, kailangan ayusin mo. So, prescribe agad, no? Hindi, bakit? Anong mali doon sa report ko? Diba? Oo. So, iwasan yun. Feedback muna. And then, yung advice, if you can delay the advice, and instead of giving advice, ay be curious. Ask questions, no? Ano kaya pwede natin gawin para ma-solve yung problema, no? Feedback should be non-judgmental. Yes. It should be specific, explains the behavior, when and where, and when it happened, no? Yung SBI is very powerful there. Non-judgmental, avoid labels. Avoid yung lagi ka na lang late, lagi ka na lang absent, lagi ka na lang ganito, lagi ka na lang ganyan. Okay? And finally, actionable. Anong ibig sabihin ng actionable? May magagawa yung tao, useful yung feedback mo, may magagawa siya, no? Halimbawa, pag sinabi kong, napapansin ko kasi wala kang ganang magtrabaho eh. What do I do with that? What do I do with that feedback? No? At saka you jump to conclusion eh, di ba? Be objective. Ano yung ginagawa, ano yung hindi ginagawa, be specific. So yun po yung 5. Timely, clear, specific, and non-judgmental. And it should be actionable. So sana po ay nakatulong yan na ano, no? Na advice sa atin when giving feedback. Ano kaya ibig sabihin ng maybe it's the personal thing? No? More on coaching po pala, sir, ang mas applicable. Malaking tulong yung marunong tayong mag-coaching, no? Okay. May misunderstanding or miscommunication between the receiver and nagbigay ng feedback. Totoo. Oo. Kaya dito rin sa team ko, lagi kong sinasabi na wag tayong tumigil ng pag-uusap hangga't hindi tayo nagkakaintindihan. Dahil yung way of communication ng mga tao ay they're not always specific and accurate, and yung understanding is not always accurate. So, kung may hindi ka naintindihan, you are expected to ask questions. No? At kung may duda ka na naintindihan ka, you are also expected to ask questions. We don't stop the communication loop hanggat hindi tayo nagkakaintindihan. You cannot solve a problem kung hindi pa kayo nagkakaintindihan. Di ba? Ayan. Seek to understand conversation for every behavior, especially if habitual. Yes. But if the receiver always takes it personally, it would still come out as judgment. Ngayon, medyo loaded yung sinabi mo, Jelly Ace, in my opinion. Kasi kung always takes it personally, meron tayong bigger issue of trust between the employee and the supervisor or the manager. Kung lahat ng sasabihin ko sa'yo ay minamasama mo, siguro may nangyari sa atin in the past that triggers that belief. So, ang anong kailangan doon? Baka kailangan ng conflict resolution. Baka meron tayong unresolved conflict na kaya ang nangyayari, ang reputasyon, halimbawa, ang reputasyon mo sa akin, kung ako yung empleyado, is that ginagawa mo ito dahil pinag-iinitan mo ko kasi ayaw mo sa akin. So, merong ganong klaseng belief, no? So, importante yung trust building, Kung ganun lagi yung pakiramdam, maybe you should shift the conversation to addressing that issue. No, pwede mong sabihin na napapansin ko na every time magbibigay ako sa iyo ng feedback ay sumasama ang loob mo when that is not my intention. So, pwede ba nating pag-usapan 'yan? Kasi ang gusto ko, mas productive yung ating conversation. My goal is to help you succeed, not to put you down. No? Ang goal ko is to help you succeed. My goal is to help you solve your problem, not give you problems. No? So, clarify that. So, paano ba natin magagawa ito? No? So, build trust with people. And if you feel na yung trust is damaged, maybe you should prioritize fixing it. Kasi pag na-fix mo yon, mas madali na yung masolve yung mga problema. Pag wala na yung issue na yon, baka ma-solve natin ma-fix natin yung lamat sa relationship, no? My gosh, it's already 10 o'clock at ako'y may training bukas. Isang slide na lang po. Ayan, last slide. Feedback tips, lalo na kapag peer feedback, no? Maganda yung yung asking for permission before offering feedback. Like, do you have time? I would like to give you some feedback if you're open to it. Feedback lang, di ba? Next is focus on observed behavior and not assumptions. Okay? Observed behavior. Napansin ko kaninang meeting ay hindi ka masyadong nag-participate. Okay? Instead of saying, may problema ka ba? May problema ka ba? Parang wala ka sa sarili mo kaninang meeting. That's an assumption, right? So focus on the behavior. Use I notice instead of you always, no? Lagi ka na lang, napansin ko, naobserbahan ko is the right term. And with a coaching question, like what would help you improve this? No? Ayan. And finally, ito sobrang importante nito. Kapag ka nagkakandak ako ng training on supervision, management, or coaching, pag nagro-role play, napapansin ko, yung tao na nag-play ng role ng manager at supervisor, dun sa role play conversation, lumalaki ang boses. Halimbawa, magbibigay ng constructive feedback. Ang laki ng boses ng boss, no? Nagbabago yung tono. Hindi naman siya ganun magsalita eh. Pero pag nag-role play, kasama sa characterization yung malaki yung boses or medyo superior yung boses, di ba? And when I model the conversation with them, ang unang-unang napapansin ng mga participants sa akin ay hindi yung structure, kung hindi yung tono ng aking pagsasalita. Sinasabi nila, para ka lang nakipagkwentuhan ah. Para lang nakipagkwentuhan sa o nakipag-brainstorming sa kaibigan mo. And ang sabi ko sana, ano ba dapat ang boses? Kailangan ba malaki? Kailangan ba powerful para ipakita kong powerful ako? Diba? Yung power mo, yung authority mo, it's already vested in you if you're a supervisor or manager. Hindi mo na siya kailangan ipangalandakan. Diba? So, ayan. So, yun po yung aking maipapayo, no? So, sana recorded itong live. Gusto kong balik-balikan as reminder to myself. Recorded po ito at ang ginagawa ko po, gumagawa ako ng mga clips. Kung sinusundan niyo po ako sa TikTok, maraming clips doon ng mga previous na videos. Kung sinusubaybayan niyo rin po ako sa Facebook, nagiging reels po ito. Pero kung gusto niyo ng buo, ay mag-subscribe po kayo sa aking YouTube channel o kaya sa aking Facebook. Sa Facebook po, may 99 pesos per month na subscription fee. Pero ang ginagawa ko, aside from the video, itong slide na pinakikita ko sa inyo, you get a copy of it, PDF. Tapos, nagbibigay pa ako ng toolkit. Yung toolkit, paano gawin yung conversation, yung script, kasama doon, So, kung willing kayong partihan ako ng 99 pesos kada buwan, I would really appreciate it. Subscribe to my page, Edwin C. Ebreo, no? Ay makikita nyo po yung buong video plus slides plus toolkit. Ayan. So, I really appreciate po yung mga tanong na ngayon. I feel that you were highly engaged. At sana po ay sa susunod na Monday, pasensya na po kayo, tayo ay matatapos agad. May coaching and mentoring training po ako bukas. So maaga akong gigising. At pero balik po tayo next week. Usually bandang linggo ina-announce ko yung topic sa TikTok. So mag-follow po kayo sa akin sa TikTok o kaya sa Facebook para alam nyo kung ano yung susunod natin na topic. At pwede rin po kayong mag-suggest ng mga topics na pwede natin pag-usapan at ipipila po natin sa listahan. Tandaan nyo po, pagka kayo ay nakasubscribe doon sa aking Facebook page, you get the whole video, you get the whole slides, all the slides that I presented, plus toolkit. I give toolkit, no? So talagang, because I'm very passionate about seeing leaders succeed in their role. So parang yun yung mission ko sa buhay, na kung meron akong maitutulong, para magamit ninyo yung tinuturo ko, I'll do it. Because ang aking sense of achievement ay hindi dun sa dami ng nanood, nakinig sa akin, kundi yung gaano karami yung nagsabi sa akin, ginamit ko yung natutunan ko sa'yo and it helped me, 'no? Micromanagement, actually natapos lang tayo sa delegation, eh. Katatapos lang na sige po, babalikan po natin yung topic ng ano 'no, yung micromanagement, delegation, and empowerment. Ilinya po natin 'yan sa susunod, ano po. So, diyan po nagtatapos yung ating, session for tonight. Thank you so much everyone for joining me and, see you again. Next Monday, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Same time, same place. Leadership Monday. Okay? Magandang gabi po lahat sa inyo and good night. Bye-bye. Bye everyone. Bye classmates. Bye-bye.